Hi, my name is Roisin O'Keeffe and I'm here today with Big Picture TV. I'm interviewing Orla O'Sullivan from DCU. Today we're going to talk about the topic of college and CAO. I'd like to thank Orla for coming out today for this interview, and I'm going to start. So first of all, I'm going to ask you, what is the CAO and how would you apply for it?
Well, the CAO is a Central Applications Office, that's what it stands for, and it's basically the central point where anybody who wants to go to college applies. So it could be a school student, a mature student, or it could be a FETAC student. And they all go through this system, which is based in Galway, but usually it's done online, but it can also be applied for by paper. So the CAO system is something that all students need to go through. It costs money. There's a deadline of the 1st of February, and then there's a late application on the 1st of May. And after applying, then students wait to hear whether they've got the course after they get their results in August.
What kind of financial support is there for young people applying for college?
Yeah, there's a student grant. And if a student is earning under a certain, if there's income coming into the household is under a certain amount of money, then they are entitled to a student grant. And the student grant then pays for the student contribution, which is €3,000, which will be €3,000 in 2015. And then it also, every student is entitled to a free fee, so they don't have to pay for tuition. So the grant would pay for their contribution, the 3,000, and it would also give them a maintenance grant. And that's if they're earning under a certain amount of money. There's also for mature students, there would be the back to education allowance. And also if you go to a private college, you could get funding by tax back.
In my own opinion, from actually asking people kind of have this bad opinion of PLC colleges. Would you advise them, and what is your opinion of them basically?
Well, PLC colleges are a vitally important addition to the whole education framework in Ireland, because not everybody wants to go to third level education. Some people want to just get training and go straight into the workplace. So that's what PLC colleges are for. They're basically a step towards employment, skilled employment. So once you have your qualifications from school, which is 5 passes, you can get onto a PLC. There's 300,000 all over the country, so there's quite a number of them, and they're very, well used. Like a lot of people do go to PLC colleges. It's also a good time for students to check out whether they enjoy a subject before they actually go on and study it for another 3 or 4 years. So PLC colleges are vitally important.
I also heard of the Here and There scheme. Would you be able to explain a little bit more about them, if you could?
They are really applications procedures for people with disabilities. That's the DARE, and then there's the HERE, which is for people who are from a socio-economic disadvantaged area. So really what it is, it's for students, the DARE is for students who would thrive normally in college, except for a disability like dyslexia maybe that they might have. Or else they had an illness maybe during school that prevented them from attending all their classes. So really it's to help those students to be able to get into college, and they'll get supports then while they're in there. And there has to be various documentation gathered in order for people to get places through DARE, through HERE. Basically you get into college on reduced points.
That's really good. So for people applying for college in 6th year, what would your top 5 tips be for them?
Top 5 tips would be for sure to do a lot of research. The hardest part of filling out the CAO application is the 10 course that you have to pick in level 8, which is an honours degree, and the 10 course you have to pick in level 6 and 7. That is the main part of the application process. So before you even look at the CAO, I think it would be important to do a lot of research on the college, on the course. That would be number 1. And then number 2 would be make sure that you are doing the subject that is required. So if you're going to go on and become a doctor or a nurse or whatever, that you have a science subject in your school first. So that would be really important. Also, when you're picking a college, make sure that it's not a private college, unless you really want to pay extra money to go to college. If it's a private college, which CAO do process, it means that you'll be paying in the region of 2,000 or 3,000 more, because you're paying for the tuition fees as well. So it would be just important that you're aware of that. Make sure that you have this book, which is the handbook, and by your side at all times, because it gives all of the deadlines within the first page. So you don't miss a deadline. Like the 1st of February is the main deadline, and then the late application would be on the 1st of May. So that would be very important as well. And I think that's 5. I'm not sure. I haven't counted.
So how would you advise for people to go about getting information about colleges? Like, would you advise maybe websites or anything else?
Yeah, sure. There's lots of websites that people can get information on. So there's the CAO one, obviously the very important one, cao.ie. And then if people are interested in grants, they can go on to the SUSI website, which is susi.ie. And then there's, if people want information on here and there, they can get on to accesscollege.ie. Now, obviously, students who are in a school setting can get information from their guidance counsellor. There's lots of help there. And, you know, you should talk to parents as well, and the schools will put on talks for parents. So there's information all around, especially coming up to the February 1st cut-off date for applications. And also just to be very careful that when you are applying, that you meet that deadline, especially for restricted courses like arts courses and music courses, because they are ones that you can't have late applications to, you know.
Just again, I'd like to thank Orla for coming out, and if you need any more info, you can go to the CAO website, or there's loads of websites that Orla had mentioned. I'd again like to thank you for taking the time out, and I've been Roisin O'Keeffe, and this is Big Picture TV.